Buckle up, everyone, because today we are taking a deep dive into how to navigate the murky waters of car dealerships. Specifically, all those add-ons they try to tack onto the price. We've got this awesome guide called What Not to Pay For. It's like our roadmap for this deep dive, and it's packed with tips and tricks that can save you some serious cash. We'll be uncovering those common traps that dealers try to pull, exposing their true costs, and giving you the tools to negotiate like a pro. I'm talking VIN etching, nitrogen in your tires, all those extras that they love to throw at you.
We're going to make sure you're paying for the car, not lining the dealer's pockets with unnecessary extras.
Okay, let's start with market adjustment fees. I've been seeing these pop up more and more lately. Is it just me, or are these becoming more common?
Yeah, it seems like dealers are using this tactic more frequently.
Right.
Especially when certain models are in high demand. They basically use the excuse that because there's a shortage, the car is worth more than the MSRP.
Which is just crazy.
It is. But the good news is that it's almost always negotiable.
So if I see this fee, what should I do?
You can absolutely start by refusing to pay it. But to give yourself more leverage, do your research beforehand. Look at Kelley Blue Book or Edmunds. See what other people in your area are paying for the same car. That way you have a realistic baseline for negotiations.
That's a great tip. Knowledge is power.
Right.
So speaking of things that inflate the price, let's move on to dealer-installed accessories. Things like undercoating, paint protection, fabric sealant, all that good stuff. Are any of those actually worth it?
Well, some of them can be useful, but the problem is that the prices at dealerships are usually outrageous. The markup is insane. If you do a little research online or call around to some local shops, you can almost always get the same service done for way cheaper.
I once saw a dealership trying to charge $500 for paint protection. I found a detailer in my area with amazing reviews who only charged $150.
Yeah.
And they used a much better product.
That's a perfect example. Dealerships really prey on people who aren't informed.
It's unbelievable. Okay, let's talk about two add-ons that I find particularly baffling. VIN etching and nitrogen-filled tires. VIN etching is where they etch the VIN number onto the windows. And nitrogen-filled tire, well, they fill your tires with nitrogen. They claim it's a security feature and that nitrogen is better for your tires. Am I missing something?
You pretty much hit the nail on the head with VIN etching. You can buy a DIY kit online for like $20 and do it yourself in 15 minutes.
Seriously.
Yeah. We'll even include a link to a kit we recommend in the show notes.
Perfect. So I can skip that. What about nitrogen in the tires?
Air is already 78% nitrogen, so paying extra to get pure nitrogen is kind of pointless. Sure, maybe there's some very minor benefits, but for the average driver, it's not worth the cost.
Good to know. Now, paint protection, sealants, and window tinting. Those actually seem kind of useful.
They can be. They can help protect your car's paint, block UV rays, even add some privacy. But you guessed it, dealerships often charge way more than they should. Do your research and find a reputable third-party provider. You'll save a lot of money.
Okay, so research is key. Got it. Now, this next one really gets under my skin. The dealer prep fee. It just feels like an insult. Shouldn't the car be ready to go when I buy it?
You would think so. This is just another sneaky way for dealerships to pass on their costs to the customer. Things like cleaning the car and removing any protective wrapping. That should all be included in the price.
It's like going to a restaurant and being charged a cooking fee. It's ridiculous.
Exactly.
I have a friend who recently bought a car, and he actually called the dealer out on this fee, and they took it off the bill right away.
It's definitely worth pushing back on that one.
Now, extended warranties, those can be tricky. They seem like a good idea for peace of mind. But I've heard that dealerships mark them up a lot.
They do. My advice is to shop around and get quotes from third-party providers. You can often find the same coverage for a much lower price.
Okay, so don't just go with the first warranty they offer. Makes sense. Now let's talk about some of those hidden fees that can sneak into the paperwork. Things like document fees, advertising fees, loan or financing fees. It can feel like they're trying to nickel and dime you at every turn.
They are, but you can outsmart them. With document fees, each state has a maximum allowable fee. So make sure you know what that is in your state. Anything above that is excessive and you should challenge it.
And advertising fees. Are they seriously trying to get me to pay for their advertising?
Yep. It's another way to pass on their business expenses to the customer. Just say no to that one.
Okay, what about loan or financing fees?
If you're financing through the dealership, be very careful. Read through every single line of those loan documents. Look for hidden fees like administrative charges or processing fees. Anything that seems suspicious, question it.
And what's the best way to avoid those fees altogether?
Get pre-approved for a loan from your bank or credit union before you go to the dealership. That way you already have a financing offer in hand, and you can compare it to what the dealership offers.
So I should always come prepared with my own financing.
Got it. Now this next tactic really grinds my gears. They call them mandatory accessories. But they're not really mandatory, it's just a way for them to sell you more stuff. Things like floor mats, cargo nets, mud flaps. It's like they think I'm going on an off-road adventure.
Right, but you have the power to say no. When they start pushing those accessories, just say, thanks, but I'm not interested in any additional accessories. I'd like to keep the price of the car as low as possible.
And if they try to tell me I can't buy the car without those accessories?
Don't believe them. You can say, I understand you're trying to offer me a valuable package,
Yeah.
but I'm really only interested in the car itself. I'm happy to purchase those accessories separately if I decide I need them later on.
Okay, so be polite but firm. I can do that. Some dealers even try to sneak in environmental fees.
Oh.
I'm all for being eco-conscious, but I want to make sure I'm not being taken advantage of. I hear you. There are legitimate environmental fees. But some dealerships try to take advantage of people's good intentions. Don't be afraid to ask for clarification. If something seems fishy, it probably is.
Right. I need to know where my money is going.
Yeah.
We're almost at the end of this part of our deep dive, but before we move on, we need to talk about delivery fees.
Yes. There are actually two types of delivery fees. Destination charges and dealer-added delivery or prep fees.
Okay, there are two.
Destination charges are legit. That's the fee the manufacturer charges to ship the car from the factory to the dealership. You can usually find it on the Monroney sticker, that big window sticker with all the car's information.
So that's unavoidable.
Pretty much. But the other type of delivery fee, the dealer-added delivery or prep fee, that's the one to watch out for.
How do I know if I'm being charged that extra fee?
Look for anything that says dealer delivery or vehicle prep on the paperwork. If you see that, politely point out that the destination charge already covers the cost of delivering the car.
Okay, so be on the lookout for those sneaky fees.
Yeah.
And what if they try to argue?
Just be firm. You can say something like, I'm happy to pay the standard destination charge, but I'm not comfortable paying an additional delivery fee. Could we please adjust the final price accordingly?
Perfect. I'm loving all these scripts you're giving me. It's like I have a secret weapon now.
You do. Knowledge is power.
Okay, so we've talked about a lot of individual fees. But at the end of the day, it's all about that final number, what they call the out-the-door price.
Yes. That's the most important number to focus on. The total amount you'll pay for the car, including all the fees, taxes, and financing costs.
Right. So if I can get that number to a place where I'm comfortable, I don't have to worry so much about the individual fees.
Exactly. Keep your eye on the big picture.
Okay, so don't get bogged down in the details. Focus on the total price.
And don't be afraid to use the power of no. You are in control. You're the one with the money, and they want your business.
Okay, I can do that. But let's get into some more specifics about negotiation tactics. Because knowing what to avoid is one thing, but actually pushing back and getting the deal I want, that's a whole other ballgame.
It is. But it's a game you can win.
Okay, I'm ready to play.
First things first, remember to focus on that out-the-door price.
Right, the big picture.
And be polite but firm in declining unnecessary add-ons.
So if they try to sell me VIN etching, I can just say, thanks, but I'll pass.
Exactly. And be prepared to explain your reasoning. You can say, I've done my research, and I know I can get this done elsewhere for a fraction of the price.
Or if they try to convince me that I need nitrogen-filled tires, I can just drop some knowledge about air already being mostly nitrogen.
Exactly. Show them that you're informed.
I love it. But what if they absolutely refuse to budge on an unfair charge?
Then be prepared to walk away.
Wait, really? Just walk out.
Sometimes that's the best thing you can do. It shows them that you're serious and that you're not going to be taken advantage of. A lot of times, they'll come running after you with a better offer.
Wow. I never thought of it that way. But what if I really love the car?
Remember, there are other dealerships out there you can always shop around.
That's true. Okay, so it's all about knowing my worth and not being afraid to stand up for myself.
Exactly.
I'm feeling empowered already.
Good. You should feel empowered. You're the one making the purchase.
Okay, let's break down some specific scenarios and give our listeners some ammunition to combat those ridiculous fees.
Sounds good.
Let's start with that dealer prep fee.
Yeah.
I just can't get over how absurd that fee is.
It is absurd. But here's a phrase you can use. I understand that prepping the car is part of your standard process, but I'm not comfortable paying an additional fee for it. Could you please remove it from the final price?
Ooh, I like that. It's polite, it's clear, and it gets the point across.
Exactly. Most dealerships will waive that fee without any pushback.
They don't want to lose a sale over something so small.
Exactly.
Okay, what about delivery fees on used cars?
There shouldn't be any delivery fees on used cars. The car is already on their lot.
So if I see a delivery charge on a used car, I should question it.
Absolutely. You can say, I'm a little confused about this delivery fee. Since this is a used car that's already on your lot, I don't understand why there would be a delivery charge. Could you please explain?
Perfect. Now, what about those mandatory accessories?
Ah, yes. The floor mats, the cargo nets, all that stuff.
Yeah. How do I politely decline those?
Just be upfront. When the salesperson starts listing those add-ons, you can say, thank you, but I'm not interested in any additional accessories. I'd like to keep the price of the car as low as possible.
And if they insist that those accessories are required?
You can say, I understand that you're trying to offer me a valuable package, but I'm really only interested in the car itself. I'm happy to purchase those accessories separately if I decide I need them later on.
Okay, so be assertive, but respectful.
Exactly.
I think I'm starting to get the hang of this. Now let's talk about those sneaky environmental fees.
Okay.
How do I know if they're legit or not?
When you see an environmental fee on the paperwork, ask for a detailed breakdown of what it covers.
So I can say something like, I'm committed to environmental sustainability and happy to pay my fair share. However, could you please explain what this environmental fee covers?
Yeah.
I want to ensure that it's going towards legitimate environmental initiatives.
That's a good way to put it.
Okay, so be informed, ask questions, and don't be afraid to push back.
Exactly.
I feel like I'm ready to take on the car dealerships now.
I think you are.
Thanks for all the great advice.
You're welcome.
This has been so helpful.
I'm glad.
We've covered a lot of ground today, but we're not done yet.
Not quite.
Stay tuned for part 2, where we'll delve even deeper into the art of car buying.
We'll be right back.
Thank you for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful and enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and share it with someone who might find it useful.